Hello and welcome to the Halftime Report here on the Barroom Network. This is Bear Football. John Buffone alongside Aldo Gandia. The Bears leading the Saints 13-10 at halftime. Feels good to be up at halftime, but Aldo, you got to feel like the Bears gave one away at the end of the half there.
Absolutely. You know, the bend but don't break defense broke there. Looked like Jalen Johnson. I didn't get a great look at it. I think you got a better look at it than I did. But did he slip, or was he expecting some help on the inside?
I don't know. He was definitely trying to take away the sideline and then kind of just let Jared Cook go towards the middle as if he may have had some help over there. It looked like I'm not sure if there was a miscommunication there or what happened, but it was a soft defense after that. I will say it was a bad pass interference call on Kyle Fuller. That was just soft as they come. But then after that, the defense turned as soft as that call by Cook should have had a touchdown catch before that if Breeze puts it on the numbers, and then they go right back to him and he scores. All in all, though, it's good to see the offense kind of moving the ball. Offensive linemen dropping like flies out there, though. They're being put together with bubble gum and scotch tape right now. It's going to be interesting to see how that looks in the second half. What are some of your takeaways going into the third?
Yeah, I first of all, applause to Matt Nagy in calling the plays. He really made a commitment to the run here, and I applaud that. Rushing attempts, while there are only 11, one of them by Mitch Trubisky, by the way.
Right.
They didn't have a lot of possessions in order to get a flow going with the running game. You know, particularly since their one big scoring drive were some explosive plays, and that was great to see. But I think that the Saints noticed that they were going to try to run the ball and help out this defense by controlling the tempo with the run game. And so that is why I think Mooney and Allen Robinson were able to get open for huge gains. So from a rushing attack standpoint, you got David Montgomery with 9 rushes. I got the stats right up here. So there they are. 9 rushes for 66 yards, and Kamara has 5 for 27 yards, although Kamara has been much busier in the passing game. I was worried about the tight ends for the Saints coming into this game. They had not been playing particularly well. Jared Cook had not established a chemistry with Drew Brees, although he did have 3 touchdown receptions. So typically when that happens, offenses tend to find a way to cure their ills against the Bears defense, it seems. And so Jared Cook has played well for the Saints. But overall, I think there's a lot to like about this game so far. And I know a lot of people start harping on the defense, but still, you're playing against the New Orleans Saints. You're playing against a team that's had a lot of success against the Bears in the past. And so I don't mind this score at this point. And so the offense has to do their part, which is control the ball and make more explosive plays in the second half and get a victory.
Absolutely. And once again, I would love to see the Bears up 13-3 or 13-6 as opposed to 13-10 going into halftime. But you did hold the Saints to 10 points in the first half, on track to only score 20 if you want to do that, whole reasoning. However, the Bears are going to have to not let off the gas. And I'm interested to see how the offense comes out. Who's going to be are they going to reshuffle the line again? Are they going to leave it as it is? Spriggs got hurt towards the end of the half. Right now, I love the way that I love that call that sprung David Montgomery for that 38-yard run. It was kind of showed like you're going to flare out to the edge, and then he kind of just handed it off to him in almost like the fullback position. It kind of looked like where you just kind of throw the ball into his gut and see what he can do, and that worked. And there was really good blocking on that play. So it's one of those. It's one of those halves where you're pretty happy about the result. You're pretty happy with how the Bears are playing. But I'm still nervous going. Maybe it's in my DNA to just feel that way. Whereas it's the second half, and you're just like, okay, it feels like they're getting by. They're doing enough. but eventually they're gonna have to pull away here. And I know that I always stick up for the defense in most of these situations, and I'm much harder on the offense than I am the defense, just because I think the defense gets a lot of unwarranted heat. But I would like to see, and I think it was one of our comments on the bottom there. I would love to see a little more pressure on the quarterback. It's not like you don't have a guy in Brees who's going to break the pocket and run out. He's not Lamar Jackson back there. If they can, I would love to see a little more pressure on the quarterback. I don't know if Khalil Mack is 100. He's obviously not 100%. I'm just wondering how much that injury is actually hampering him. And then on that 48-yard catch and run by Kamara, Khalil Mack was put in coverage, and then nobody was in the middle. If I'm Chuck Pagano, and I know Khalil Mack is not 100%, I don't know how many times I want to put him into coverage covering Alvin Kamara if that's going to be his one-on-one assignment. I hate that. I think every play in which I don't want to see Khalil Mack drop back into coverage anymore, because first of all, that's not his strength. Second of all, he's banged up, and I don't know how long he's going to be able to stick with an Alvin Kamara or a tight end or anybody else, but with the fact that the Bears aren't getting that much pressure on the quarterback. So I'd like to see them pen their ears back and get after Brees a little bit more. But once again, maybe I'm nitpicking a little bit, but they're up by 3, but I want to see a little bit more in the second half.
Yeah, I think that play where Mac dropped back into coverage, it appears to me, a couple of people on Twitter told me, well, he's supposed to cover the flat, and Deshaun Gibson, the safety, was supposed to take the running back Kamara over the middle, and that sounds totally plausible to me. Yeah. But nonetheless, I am with you. You got to give Khalil Mack, take away all those pass coverage duties and let him go after the quarterback. And if he's having some injury issues, then give him a blow. But dropping him back into coverage is just not a good idea. And especially if he's got a hurt wheel. So that's an issue. The other thing is, coming into this game, I posted a stat on Twitter at Bears Barroom that the Saints are very effective at throwing the ball over the middle. 80% completion percentage for Drew Brees throwing over the middle, and that has been a weak spot for the Chicago Bears. So watch the middle of the field in the second half. That Drew Brees is going to go to his strength and what is unfortunately a Bears weakness with this defense. So watch that. Got to ask you what you think about this offensive line with all these substitutes. 3/5 of the line is down. Maybe more.
Well, yeah, even good lines are gonna struggle when people are getting shuffled around like that, and you get being decimated by injuries. Not just, coming into this game and then in this game. So I hope they can kind of throw it together. And here's the deal. The bar, and there's not really a pun, but for Alex Bard, but the bar isn't very high. So it's not like we saw Rashard Coward in there not recognize a stunt, which is one of the most basic defensive line moves. He was running with the guy that was halfway across the line. He didn't recognize it. So it's not like, oh no, we're not going to get the protection we're used to seeing from this offensive line. So it's not like it's just going to blow the plans up, because they knew they weren't going to have much time to begin with. Obviously it's intriguing to see new bodies back there, and maybe some new chemistry, maybe some new attitudes in there. We'll see. It's ideal? Absolutely not. You don't want to see 2 or 3 linemen get taken off of the offensive line, but it's not like they were an all-world line to begin with. We'll see what the next man up can possibly do there.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think that Rashard Coward could be a better right tackle than left guard. So if Spriggs is indeed out for the second half, moving Coward to the right tackle position, a position I saw him play tons at Bourbonnais a year ago, could be a better spot for him. And then having Alex Bars at left guard, that could work. But Spriggs, outside of the very first play where I saw he looked a little confused, as a lot of offensive linemen do when they are thrown into the game because of an injury. But outside of that, he played very well. And I put up a replay again on our Twitter feed of him making a really good block that busted David Montgomery for that long run. So some good things out of this offensive line, but let's keep an eye on Marcus Davenport, because if Coward is moving out to that right tackle position, Davenport typically rushes on pass rush situations out of the left. And so hopefully Coward will have his way with him. And the Bears were running well out on that right side of the line with Spriggs in there. So if Coward comes in there and plays the rest, I hope they can continue to run well to the right as they did in the first half. Final thoughts before we throw it to the third quarter of play?
One thing on offense, I'd like to see them get the tight ends involved just a little bit more. I'd like to see, Jimmy Graham was open for on a pass, and Nick Foles just missed him, and it looked like it could have been just a real nightmare for Jimmy Graham. He got taken out low. Luckily, he's okay. But I'd like to see them get the tight ends involved just a little bit more. Try to see if you can open up the middle of the field and then maybe spring a couple more of those big plays to Mooney and Robinson. And everything feeds off of each other. You get the long plays, it maybe opens up a run maybe brings the linebackers up, and you get something down the middle. I just want to see a little bit more of a little more of the defensive tight end involvement in the offensive scheme.
Yeah, I agree with you. Jimmy Graham, this is a big game for him. Every time he plays against the Saints, he wants, to show them that, he still has it. He has no receptions, one pass thrown his way, and it was a bad throw, and he got banged up a bit on that play. And so he wants an opportunity. There was a play in the end zone where it looked like Foles could have thrown him a jump ball pass. Graham was guarded by Marcus Lattimore, and Foles instead chose to throw it over the middle. So that was perhaps a missed opportunity there. But I agree with you. We don't have any tight ends with a pass reception. Where's Cole Kmet, who Matt Nagy says, we got to get him more involved. We got to get him some more snaps. We got to get him in there.
Sure. You're the head coach. Put him in.
Yeah. So maybe they all fight each other for playing time. No, I'll go in. No, I'll go in. No, I don't know what's going on there.
What a great system.
Yeah, that's right. But I got a feeling you'll see a lot of two tight end sets here in the second half, with the offensive line being what it is, and hopefully we'll see some more fullback play, and David Montgomery can pull off some more yards. I think ball control is important in this second half. Let's keep the ball away from the Saints, and then when they do have the ball, make them work. Give them those 10, 12 play drives. And if they're going to get 3 points out of it, that's fine. But the Bears on offense have to do their part as well. Absolutely. All right, John, I will see you right here after the game. Tyler is supposed to be back. He's been at some basketball tournament, so hopefully he'll be back in time to join us for the end of the game. If not, it'll be the two of us, brother. We'll talk to you later.